Hello, this is Mad Cat, the angry egalitarian that discusses this and that. And today is another edition of Mad Cat Smash Feminism. 38. And remember, feminists, there's a line drawn in the sand, but your head is so far up your ass, you keep crossing that line. All right, so no video today. I haven't had a chance to really work out that system just yet, but I'm on my desktop computer. It is working again and actually better than it was before. So I guess I'm kind of glad it failed miserably. Oh, and there's warped reflection. Woohoo! Someone's on at the beginning. And so I'm just going to butcher it. I've already have. All right, let's get started with today's show. Man wrongly accused of rape, saying it ruined his life and left him living in a tent. So this is a very sad story. Maybe I should put a trigger warning at the beginning, so feminists can go and run away and just pretend that it's not true. So a dad has told how his life was wrecked by the stigma of a false rape claim, which has left him living in a tent. Plasterer Terry Brown, 34, was unable to get work after Lisa-Jayne Samuels concocted a fake e-fit, which looked like him. I don't know what it means by e-fit, and claimed he had spiked her drink. The liar was then jailed, but self-employed Terry says his reputation was already destroyed, leaving him penniless. So this is the cunt that made the false allegation. He was rehomed for safety, but unable to work. He and pregnant partner Tracy something defaulted on their rent and are now living in a tent pitch in the woodlands. The pair say that they survived by collecting fresh food from supermarkets, skips, in a bid to stay hidden, but are still targeted by vigilantes. I'm assuming they mean trash bins, that they if there's a delivery, they go and steal it because they're trying to stay hidden. I'm not really sure what it means by skips. There's going to be a lot of words that are specific to the UK that I have no understanding of what they mean. So if I say something and you know what it means, please let me know so I can better understand this. Oh, e-fit is a mugshot. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Excuse me. Dad of two, Terry, said, life was a lot better before the allegation. I had a future. Now I can't go to the shops without someone calling me a rapist. Even old, respectable-looking gentlemen walking their dogs call me a rapist. Because I don't work and can't get housed, we are forced to live in a tent, which is always getting destroyed. Rocks are thrown at us. The rocks were thrown at us last month. Following the false claims, Terry was denied access to his two existing children, while his fiancée lost their unborn child at 10 weeks tripping as she tried to flee a mob. He also suffered beatings in the street and had rapists and dirty, scummy rapists daubed on his walls by thugs, forcing the couple to flee. Terry added, my name was cleared in the court, but I'm still treated like I committed that terrible crime. When people shout horrible things at me on the street, it makes me feel incredibly low, and I don't know where to turn. See, this is street harassment. You know, feminists are always claiming, well, we get street harassed because people say such nice things to us. You don't know what street harassment is until you walk down the street and people call you a rapist. That's street harassment. And it's unfortunate that it has to happen to this guy who was cleared of his charges. But the thing of it is that when you're called a rapist, you're going to be a rapist for the rest of your life, innocent or guilty. Now, if you're guilty, sure, okay. But innocent? No. Because that just means that anyone could be labeled a rapist at any given point in time. They don't even need to meet a person and they can say, well, that person over there raped me. And you're forever stuck with that. And this is a privilege that women have. If we call a woman a rapist, the world would try to forgive her or try to protect her in some way. But a guy, no. He added, I've never been the same since really. Oh, I've never been the same since really. I still have nightmares and can't go back to the Basiladon. Not sure what that is. Even though it's it's a town. Never mind. Even though it's my hometown, as I just don't feel safe. After being moved from Basiladon for their safety, Terry, 34, and Tracy, 26, were living on Canvey Island, Essex, until the beginning of December. But they were kicked out after failing to realize they needed to pay the landlord fees to top up their housing benefits. Not sure what top up means, but I'm guessing that they still had to pay the landlord even though they were given like housing. So they left the property about $800 in arrears, I'm guessing in debt. The couple have been contacted by Basilan Council housing officer, and it is hoped that they can be housed by the end of the month. Mom of four Samuels, now 30, contacted police at 1 a.m. on October 10th, 2012, claiming she had been raped on cliffs overlooking the sea in Southend, Essex. An EFIT was drawn up and Mr. Brown was arrested on 19 June 2013, then spent 2 months on police bail. He was later released without charge after CCTV from a pub and a nearby off-license proved Samuels had not been to the bar she claimed on the night in question. Samuels, loosely acquainted with the night shelter user Terry, was charged with perverting the course of justice and sentenced to 20 months behind bars. 20 months. 20 months for a false rape accusation. If he was convicted, he would have spent, 20 years in prison. And she just gets 20 months. And now his entire life is destroyed. His life is worth 20 months in jail. But her being raped is worth 20 years in jail. Let's check out the comments. Skips are huge bins. Okay. It emerged she had made 2 previous claims of rape and had invented the allegations against Terry to win back the support of her estranged mom. I believe I've talked about this story before. Sentencing her in February last year, recorder Anthony Abel said the consequences for Mr. Brown have been catastrophic. And I think that's it. Yeah. So this is a really depressing story. But I think it's an important story because, one, yeah, a rape accusation destroys your life. But second, we need to protect the rights of the accused. Now, I don't know how it is in the UK, Australia, Canada, but here in the United States, if you're accused of murder, your name stays out of the press until basically the trial, most of the time. Now, some zealous reporters will try to get the information anyways and may decide to report it when they're not supposed to. But for the most part, if you're being charged with murder, you tend to be anonymous. You're protected basically. But when it comes to rape, you're not at all. If you're a male being accused of rape, your information is sent out everywhere. And the problem with this is if you're found to not have committed the rape, no one cares. Everyone's always like, well, the courts didn't find anything wrong, but we can't really trust the courts. So there's still a chance he actually did it, because we're more likely to believe a woman. We're more likely to believe this redheaded pixie bitch, even though she has lied before about rape. And she is convicted and serving time in jail. But let's believe her and not believe this man. And now he has to live in the woods, in a tent. His partner lost a child because she was running from a mob. Yeah, you might be happy to string him up and burn him at the stake because he's a penis walking individual. And, all men commit rape. But what about her? She lost a fucking child. That has to mean something. If you're willing to believe this stupid bitch, this fucking cunt, this lying she-beast, then maybe your sympathy should also go out to this woman who lost her child. Because we've already proven you don't give a shit about a man being falsely accused. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Feminism and icebergs, a new low in climate science. And I guess this picture is fitting because this is really just the tip of the iceberg. Congratulations, taxpayers of America. You've spent $412,930 on scientific paper on the relationship between gender and glaciers. Gender and glaciers. That's the new National Science Foundation drop on glaciers, gender, and science. 10,000 plus word of gobbledygook from the University of Oregon professor Mark Carey. Sure, that's roughly about $40 a word, but many of them are big words. I like this writer. The study urges scientists to take a feminist political ecology and feminist post-colonial approach when studying melting ice caps and climate change. Hey, it's not really global doom unless it comes from a full-bore, cutting-edge social justice buzzword. So feminist political ecology and feminist post-colonial when it comes to discussing melting ice caps to glaciers. Another taste, the feminist glaciology framework generates robust analysis of gender, robust and epistemologies in dynamic social ecological systems, thereby leading to more just and equitable science and human ice interactions. Wow. Human ice interactions. Do you think the ice can talk to you? Is this what feminist is now? You can talk to ice? What does the ice say? Oh, God, I'm cold. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Is this what Galgebra is all about? Is this what femistry is all about? We insert feminism into every course we can in college, and this is what turns out, that we have to have a human ice interactions with equitable science, with feminism, political ecology. My God. This is the most retarded thing I've ever heard of. So when we discuss, ecology, we have to put gender into the mix. Why? What logic do you have behind that? If I had time to sit down to read this 10,000 word bullshit, I would, because I really want to know how my fucking penis has anything to do with melting ice caps somewhere in the world. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. And I think this guy's a little bit on the denial of global warming, but I don't care. We're agreeing on something, that this is just fucking bullshit. And that some agency actually put this forward. They must have not read it. The National Science Foundation put this forward and this is a good thing. Maybe it'll get feminists on our side. Maybe if we say, hey, we've got a feminist over here blaming all men for all the problems in the world, then maybe women will join STEM. Because that's the only thing I can possibly understand about this idiotic paper, Glaciers, Gender, and Science. And it was written by a mangina, Mark Carey. Yes, that's what it is. The guy's banging his feminist students. I can't believe that this is actually a thing. I mean, yeah, I could see feminists doing this, but that anyone would take this seriously. Okay, so here's our next article, and this is going to be a little bit controversial because while I like what result happened, I don't like that it did happen. So let's take a look. Website's being problematic with me. All right. They are known for their provocative social experiments, but this may be one of their most dangerous yet. Internet pranksters Troll Station latest video sees a woman appearing to get glassed at a feminist rally after telling a man he isn't welcome there and punching him in the head. The 4-minute clip, which has been viewed 130 times on Facebook, has 32,000 times has been viewed 32 viewed 133,000 times on Facebook and 32,000 times on YouTube, begins at the Million Women Rise in Trafalgar Square on 5 March, where a female speaker is giving an impassioned speech on the so-called tampon tax. Guess what we're going to be talking about next? So I won't show you the video, but it's definitely check it out for yourself. But this is going to talk about the video anyway. So, but this is the woman that was hit with the glass bottle. And it's like, oh no, a woman was hit. Hundreds of women are standing around chanting and holding placards with slogans reading, "Together we end violence." The camera then zooms in on an Irishman, Troll Station actor James Slattery, 36, who is seen grabbing a placard from a female protester and repeating the chant, "Power to the women, no more violence against women." As some of the members of the crowd high-five him and give him thumbs up, he tells them, "I'm all for non-violence against women." However, one protester, undercover actress Amina Maz, 24, assures him he is not welcome, claiming that the reason they are that there is claiming they are all there is because of violent men like him. So we can see some stills from what's going on here. While James insists, I'm totally with everything you do, Amina blasts, that was a violent act. She is then told to relax and is told is giving feminists a bad name. As the discussion becomes more heated, Amina appears to lose her cool, accusing him of invading her personal space and stamping on James' foot. He responds by calling her aggressive and blasting bitchy feminist, while Amina says, it's because of men like you that we are here, before punching him in the head. Within moments, the situation escalates, and James is seen hitting her in what appears to be a glass bottle, but it's actually made of edible sugar glass, which she falls to the floor. Now, it should be noted here, well, yeah, let me note this here. When she stepped on his foot, the women did nothing. And when she punched him in the head, the women around them were kind of like, oh, let's keep you two apart, but mostly trying to keep him back. Actually, I think they were surrounding her to try to protect her. It might have looked like they were trying to keep her away, but it also kind of seems like to me they were trying to protect her. So he hits her with the glass bottle, as we can see in this still. As angry women surround him and appear to attack, he finally reveals that the whole exchange has been part of a setup. Yeah, if in the video, you'll see that they're ready to attack him after he did what he did. But it seems the pranksters aren't quite finished provoking the crowds yet, as the cameraman goes on telling the crowds they're making a porno, that was stupid, and that they were simply acting. Women who had stopped to help Amina appeared horrified, with one commenting, it doesn't matter, they shouldn't be doing it. At a place like this, doing that, nuts. Another woman accuses them of making a mockery of the protests. Amina told female, being a woman, I'm absolutely for everything they stand for. There are millions of women being mistreated and killed around the world, deprived of rights and silence. That is diabolical. What this organization is going is great. So we got a few people on Facebook commenting. So no one did anything when she hit him in the face, but they wanted to kill him when he retaliates. Naomi, if a woman hits a man can defend himself just like we do. I don't believe in this. A woman can hit a man, but you can't hit her back. If she can give it, she can take it, in my eyes. It's hard to read. She says it's because men like you that we're all here. So what does she mean? So does that mean she's people that support women's right? So that's basically, and this kind of repeats the same thing. But okay, so what this shows is really the misandrist of everything. That this group does not want violence for women. Fine. But violence against men is okay. But honestly, I think this was a very poor demonstration. And the reason why is that one could argue that the reason why the women got so hostile is because he escalated the violence to an object. She had only hit him in the head. And if he had done the same thing, yeah, it probably still would have happened, but we can't really know that at this point, because there certainly violence is violence, but hitting with your hand and using a bottle to smash over someone's head, even though it's sugar glass, these women didn't know this. And they were ready to hurt him under the belief that he hurt a woman. And I think that the overall point gets lost because he was the one who brought an object into play. Now, if she used an object to, like, say, take her placard and smash it on his head as hard as she could, and then he took a bottle and did it, I think, okay, that would have been good. But to be just hitting the head and then go and get a bottle and smash it on her head, and I recognize that that was probably the safest way they could have made their point, but it was also the dumbest way to make their point. And I don't think these feminists here will look at their actions and say, you know what, we didn't do anything to help the man. We only helped the woman, and we were ready to kill the man. They're going to look at it as, I saw that bottle crack, I had to do something because he was taking it way too far. They're going to feel justified in their actions. This group did nothing really effective. You hit a dude, they will hit back. Yeah, it's true. We definitely like to hit back. Hello, Red Robot. You're so metal, my rust has leather and spikes. Interesting. So, I mean, yes, they did show an interesting human behavior, but it's something we already know, and I think their execution was very poor. And that's just also doing this at a women's rally. I mean, they could have actually hurt him. But honestly, if I was going to do something at a women's rally, I would have let them attack me. After doing a stunt like that, let them attack me and then reveal that it was fake. To really show that that feminists don't care about violence against men. But then again, I would have properly executed. I wouldn't, if I got punched in the head, I wouldn't have grabbed a glass bottle to do it. I mean, I might have done like a fake punch or something that then knocked her out, and then all the women react. If that had happened, I think I would have been more in support of this. Otherwise, I think Troll Station are a bunch of idiots. All right, let's move on to our last article of the day. This long piece of crap. Let's check out the comments real quick. No, I'm not really surprised by the behavior, Gorvo. Yeah, they're permanently 13 years old. All right, citing gender bias, state lawmakers move to eliminate tampon tax. Now, this one really gets me angry. And when I get angry, well, then I start yelling. There's a sale tax exemption for treating erectile dysfunction in Wisconsin. The same cannot be said for feminine hygiene products. Why would it? One is treating a medical problem. The other is just something women do. It's not a medical issue for women to have periods. It's a natural biological function. Erectile dysfunction is a medical condition. So you're comparing apples and oranges here. Why would you compare erectile dysfunction to feminine hygiene products? They're not even remotely the same thing. The only reason why you do that is like, well, men are getting a special treatment, but women aren't, which would be even more retarded. Because of this next statement. Sale tax isn't applied to Viagra in Wisconsin, but it is applied to tampons and pads. Birth control, medicated condoms, and yeast infection medications are exempt because they're considered drugs. Ding, ding, ding. And the winner goes to answered your own damn question. Feminist hygiene products are not medical products. Okay? Medical products, birth control, medicated condoms, yeast infection medication, and erectile dysfunction medication, Viagra, is because they're considered medical. So they're exempt. One lawmaker in the state says the taboo around menstruation that prevents women from openly talking about their periods may also explain why women are paying extra to manage their periods. What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Oh, women are not talking about their periods, so they have to be charged more. How does that even correlate? Women's health has been misunderstood and neglected throughout history. Representative Melissa Sargent, a Democrat from Madison, told NPR, some women are ashamed of their period. She said, adding that she feels that the reluctance to talk about it has prevented the issue from gaining more momentum in state legislators. So, because people don't want to hear about blood gushing out of a vagina, means that they're having to pay more money for their sanitary products. Yeah, that's bullshit on that one. Because I'm quite certain that men don't want to talk about their erectile dysfunction. And they're getting a tax exempt because it's considered a medical treatment. So your logic goes right out the window right there. Most men who have erectile dysfunction don't want to talk about it. So women who have periods and don't want to talk about it, that doesn't have anything to do with the tampon tax. That's why she sponsored a bill that calls for the lawmakers to exempt feminine hygiene products from the state sales tax. So she did it because women are not talking about it. She did it because women are ashamed of their periods. So they shouldn't have to pay extra money. So that's the reason why. Sargent is part of a nationwide movement to remove taxes on tampons and pads that advocates feel penalizing women for their biology. Let's take a look at some comments. Ding dong, the laughing witch is dead. Am identifying as a man, these people are embarrassing. From now on, I don't want to be a woman anymore. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. But some lawmakers say that the taxes aren't a product of simple discrimination, and that presenting the issue as an instance of sexism may ignore the nuances and inconsistency of state tax codes. I'm going to table this right now, but I'm going to come back to explaining this a little bit more. But this is the big issue about all of this. So, some more bullshit. And alongside Wisconsin, lawmakers in Chicago, Utah, Ohio, California, New York, and Connecticut have proposed similar legislations to eliminate the tax that they say unfairly treats periods as a disease or illness or considers the product to be a luxury item. I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways. If you want an exemption on tampons, then you're saying that it's for a medical reason. Okay? So that means that it has to be treated as, something that, needs to be prescribed by a doctor. That's why you want the tax exemption, because you feel that it's a medical need. So I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways. Either it's a luxury item and you have to pay taxes like everyone else, or it's a medical reason and it's going to be treated like a disease or an illness, just like erectile dysfunction is treated like that. That's why they give you medication for it. That's why you generally have to see a doctor to get medication like that. So, some more bullshit. To be clear, no jurisdiction has a tampon-specific tax, as it might an alcohol or tobacco tax. And there is no additional tax imposed on these products. In places where feminine hygiene products are taxed, they are taxed under general sales tax. The thing is that women are not being discriminated against, okay? Tampons are not considered medically necessary because it's something that all women do. It's a natural function and it's a sanitary issue, okay? So it's not like a bunch of men sat around like, oh, let's go ahead and tax these because women don't really need them. No, it was treated as a sanitary issue. It's a sanitary product. No different than, deodorant. No different than, soap, shampoo. These are all sanitary products. It's not that we're proactively taxing tampons. It's that we tax everything, and tampons are just something that we tax. By virtue of this, states typically consider tampons and pads as feminine hygiene products and aren't exempt from sales tax because they're not intended for use internally or externally in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of illness or disease in human beings. As the New York tax code states, tax codes and other states have similar definitions for medical supplies and drugs. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Well, with the urine on a robot, it kind of gives new meaning to PPC. Mech Warrior fans will get that joke. Wasn't wearing body armor that night. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Tampons are considered medical devices by the Federal Food and Drug Administration, which made the classification after 100 cases of toxic shock syndrome, a bacterial infection typically caused by superabsorbent tampons, were reported in the 1970s. Now, look, I'm not necessarily against the idea of tampons receiving a tax cut. I'm really not. And if you say, well, the Food and Drug Administration considers these medical devices and that women wearing them can prevent the spread of disease because, well, if they don't have them, then it's going to drip everywhere and blood transfer like that. If someone has like an STD or AIDS, that could spread. So if you presented it to me as it's a medical need in everyone's interest, I could support it. But when you tell me that it's sexism, that it's specifically designed to make women pay more money for something, you've lost me. Because to me, you've become an immature child. Oh, it's sexist that we have to pay money on something that men don't. And, I've been trying to rack my brain to see if there was any product I could come up with that men have to pay for that women don't. The only thing I can come up with is a sports cup. Although I imagine some women might want to wear them when they play sports, especially baseball. But other than that, there really is no male equivalent. That's why I'm okay with the idea of tampons being exempt as a medical necessity, because bloodborne diseases do exist and can be spread. Okay. And, women do have to, like, I think I read on a website that women can go through like 4 or 5 tampons depending on flow um in any given period, and they can have over 400 periods in their lifetime, and that really starts to add up when you consider taxes. I mean, if you say that it's just a financial burden and the economy has been very weak and this could really help out women, I'd understand that. If you tell me that it's for everyone's health benefit and prevents the spread of disease, I can understand that. But telling me that it's sexist and that it's designed by the patriarchy against women, you're a moron. So the rest of this is just mostly bullshit article, but I want to jump down to these 2 paragraphs. Eliminating the tax is a short-term monetary loss that could lead to a long-term success of girls, says California Democrat Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia. She says girls have been told that they've missed school because they can't afford hygiene products or have used socks instead. Well, I don't know if that's actually true, but missing a few days of school is not going to really affect the long-term success of girls. I'm sorry. I mean, I missed a few days of school and I still got a bachelor's degree. Probably not for this, but I've been sick. If a girl can't go to school because of that kind of reason, I'm sorry, but that's not enough of an argument for me that she was too embarrassed because she didn't have tampons. Okay, she stays home for a few days. No biggie. It's not like that specific day of school was going to change her whole entire life, and now she can't repeat it because she had to miss school. So no, that's just a bullshit argument. But I like this one. The National Coalition for Men, a nonprofit organization, offered written support of the bill in January on condition that the bill be amended so that men are not taxed based on their gender. The letter suggests that adding jockstraps and condoms to the list of sale tax-free items would help achieve gender tax equality. And that I would also agree with. If we're going to offer for feminine hygiene products, let's also do it for condoms. Let's also do it for jock straps. Because you can get a jock strap, and I think in most places it's still taxed. Now, the condoms. One thing that I've heard from feminists in relation to the tampon issue is, well, there are places you can go to get free condoms. Yeah, but are they really free? Because here's the kicker, is that someone had to pay for them. Yes, they're being offered for free. But that means that either the establishment that's offering them for free got them for free, or being paid for them, or their corporation paid for them, or it was donated to someone who still had to pay for it. So the idea that condoms are free, yeah, they're free to men who pick them up, but someone still had to pay for it. If you want tampons offered for free to girls, then I implore you to go raise a fund, buy a lot of tampons, and start giving it away to girls. Because that's most likely what happens with condoms. But here's the kicker, that condoms and feminine hygiene products are 2 different things. One prevents STDs. One prevents pregnancy. One prevents, well, yeah, it's pretty much all it prevents is pregnancy and disease. While the other just absorbs blood to be properly disposed of rather than getting all over the place, okay? One is for procreation or the prevention of procreation. The other is just not to make a mess everywhere. Although you could kind of say that about condoms as well, but So you can't really compare condoms and feminist hygiene products and convince me that you deserve special treatment because there are places that give away free condoms. Well, you know what? The places that give away free condoms, they're usually regular size. And I have to tell you, I'm a big boy down there, and those condoms never fit me. So they're not free for me. So I guess that does it for our conversation today. Let's take a look at these comments. Pounding pussy's chicken. So, all right. So, good news. She got to take off Purity Point. Technically, that's water sports. Oh, wow. Got around the battlefield after a Battletech game and picked up and spent laser bolts. Actually, Corvo, sometimes Mary Sue does come up in my feeds. And sometimes I'll read them if they're just especially horrible. But most of the time, I just avoid them because I think they're just clickbait articles trying to piss people off. So, kind of like Gawker. In fact, doesn't Gawker own Mary Sue? I'm sorry, but we need to calm and rational minds on this stream. Where's John Kelly and I don't know who those people are. Okay, so they are mental then. All right, so I've caught up on all the comments. All right, so that does it for me today. I got a special announcement. I'm doing a very special video this weekend. It won't be live, unfortunately, but I will be releasing it on my channel. I'm not going to tell you what we'll be doing, but I'll tell you what the topic is going to be. We're going to be discussing Ghostbusters, mostly the trailer, but we're also going to talk about the rest of the franchise. So I know it's going to be very exciting. I've got a couple of my past guests going to be on with me, and we're going to probably spend... I've slotted for an hour, but it could easily go into 2 hours. But I promise you're going to be at least somewhat entertained while listening to us ramble on. So that's going to be coming. Hopefully, it will be posted on Sunday or Monday. I'm going to do a rush order on it to make sure it gets uploaded. So in my my thing down below, there's my Patreon if you want to go ahead and donate. If you don't want to give money to that, consider buying my book, 14th Century Vampire Spreading Disease. First book is free. The second book is only $3. If you like the first book, consider buying the second book. And then also voice equality. I'm really trying to push that right now. Let's show Twitter, Facebook, all of them that we're serious about the freedom of speech. And that these sites, these public social networking sites, need to adhere to freedom of speech. Well, thank you, Corvo. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And this is Mad Cat signing off.